have done. Is this visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in the previous case, we have done the convolution in the previous class. Is this visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, convolution is the basic property of an LTI system. This is a LTI system here, and input is there and output is there, right? So if I have suppose input as x of t and LTI system is given with its impulse response h of t, the output of this will be calculated as y of t, and y of t is given by integral minus infinite to infinite x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. This is the derivation we have done last time. So yt equal to this value x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. Now today we concentrate how to evaluate this integral, and that is how to do the convolution. And basically the convolution is given by this operator that is called convolution operator. Now, before going to the how to find the convolution, before that we should understand the properties of this convolution also. So, properties of convolution. Properties of convolution is like this. That is, first is it is follow the commutative property. Commutative property, what it says that whether the impulse response is h of t and input is x of t, or if I reverse this, that input is h of t and impulse response is x of t, both will remain same. Now how do we prove this? For proving this, what we do, y of t equal to integral of minus infinite to infinite x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. This is the value of this expression, x of t convolved with h of t. That is, whatever is coming in the right hand side of this operator, we shift this by t minus tau amount, and this is, we have written tau and then integral, and then this is d tau, right? This is the way to write the convolution. Now h of t convolved with x of t, it should be written in this form, that is integral minus infinite to infinite h of tau x of t minus tau d tau. Now our problem is to make these two equal to each other. For this, what I will do, I will replace this t minus tau by another variable, suppose xi. T minus tau equal to suppose xi or zeta. This is known as zeta. So this will be, now if tau is minus infinite, because these limits are of tau. So if tau is minus infinite, zeta will be plus infinite. If tau is plus infinite, zeta will be minus infinite, right? And here it will be x of, in place of x of tau, it will be x of t minus zeta. And in place of h of t minus tau, it will be h of zeta. And in place of d tau, it will be minus d zeta. In place of d tau, it will be minus d zeta. Now this minus sign is used to restore this integral limits, that is from minus infinite to plus infinite. Then we write h of zeta, h of t minus zeta, and d zeta. Now one very important thing about the summation and integration. The summation and integration, its value does not depend does not depends on the variable of summation or integration. What does this mean? Rohit, what does this mean?
Sir, the value does not depend on variable of.
Summation oblique integration. What does this mean? Value of what? Value of this summation and integration does not depend on the variable of summation or integration. That is, for example, if I integrate x square dx, suppose 0 to 1, and if I integrate y square dy, 0 to 1, can I say these two values are equal to each other?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it is not depending on the variable on which it is integrating or summation is taken, but its value depends on two things. Its value depends on two things. First, the integrand or the whatever is inside the summation. Second is the limits. If I change here this limit, if I change here 0 to 1 and if I change 0 to 2, then this will be different. Or if I change, if the limits are same, if I change this y dy, that is if I change integrand, right, then it will be different, right? So it depends upon the integrand, it depends upon the limits. It not depend upon the summation variable. So can I say this integral I can write it as minus infinite to infinite h of tau x of, this is x of t minus tau d tau. Can I write it like this?
Yes, sir.
In place of zeta, I have taken the integral with respect to tau. So I just substitute tau equal to zeta over here. So if I do that, I got this thing from this thing. I got this thing from this thing. And this is what? This is nothing but h of t convolve with x of t. तो जो भी t माइनस टॉ जहां पे भी लिखा है उसको हमें ऑपरेटर के राइट हैंड साइड लिखना है और उसके पहले वाला ऑपरेटर के पहले लिखना है. यहां पर h ऑफ t माइनस टॉ बाद में था तो इसलिए ये एस्ट्रिक के बाद में लिखा हुआ है. एस्ट्रिक इज द ऑपरेटर ऑफ द कन्वोल्यूशन, राइट? So this is the small proof of the commutative property. Is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any problem to anyone? So now we go to the second property of the convolution, and that is known as the distributive property. Distributive property is what? Distributive property is says that if I have x of t convolve with h1t plus h2t, then we can write it as x of t convolve with h1t plus x2t convolve with h2t. And proof is very simple. What is the proof? Proof is like this. If I take this first one, the left hand side, it will be x of tau because it is coming in the left hand side. So we write with x of tau integral minus infinite to infinite, and in bracket we will write h1 t minus tau plus h2 t minus tau, and then it will be d tau. And then this summation, this plus sign, we can take two integral minus infinite to infinite x of tau h1 t minus tau d tau plus integral minus infinite to infinite x of tau h2 t minus tau d tau. Right? Clear? Now in this case, this is what? This is nothing but x of tau convolve with h1 tau, h1t, h1t, x of t convolve with h1t plus x of t convolve with h2t, and that is the proof. Two-line proof is there. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is the distributive property. Now we have to understand this distributive property in terms of LTI system, because this mathematics does not help us, because it will be forgettable. We can forget after one day itself, right? But if I see the concept behind it, concept is this, that if I write this thing, xt convolved with h1t plus xt convolved with h2t here, what I will get? I have a input x of t and there is a h1t. Similarly, we have a h2t. Whose input is same? Input is same. And output here is x1t convolved with h1t. And then we have a plus. Plus means there is a summation. So we have summed out and we get here it is x of t convolved with h2t. And then when we summed it, it will be x of t convolved with h1t plus x of t convolved with h2t. Now, this is the right hand side of this property, distributive property. The left hand side, what it says symbolically, it says like this, that h1t plus h2t, there is a system and input is there, that is x of t, and output is there, that is x of t convolved with h1t plus h2t. Right? Now, these two are equivalent to each other. These two systems are equivalent to each other. What is this system is called? In this combination, in which combination we call this system? It's called as parallel combination. So now onwards, if there are more than one systems are connected in parallel, what you have to replace them one system with impulse response added of individual impulse response. Got the point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
From this distributive property, this very important concept come, that if there are more than one system connected, but these all systems should be LTI. Remember always, whenever there is a discussion of h of t or h of n, the system should be LTI only. Otherwise, we cannot discuss about the h1t or h this, right? Now, this is about the distributive property. Next is the associative property. Associative property, what it says that if we have x of t convolved with h1t, and this h1t is already convolved with h2t, right? Then associative property says that we can make it like this: x of t convolved with h1t first, and then the result is convolved with h2t. Or we can write it like this: x of t convolved with h2t first, and then convolved with h1t. Now again, the proof is very simple. Again, I am leaving this proof for you. What is the system dynamics in this that is more desirable to understand? So if there are two systems connected in cascade, one is h1t impulse response, another is h2t impulse response, and xt is the input. Output here is x of t convolved with h1t, and output here is x of t convolved with h1t. That is the input over here to this h2t, and then we take h2t. Right? So this is the system output in this case. So this is about this part, this underlying part. What about this underlying part? This underlying part says that we have h2t and input is x of t. Output of first system is x of t convolved with h2t, right? And it is H1 which is the impulse response of second LTI system, and whose input is this. So output will be x of t convolved with H2t first, and then the result is convolved with H1t. So this is now associative property says these two are same. And this is also similar to a single system whose impulse response is the convolution of the individual impulse response. That is H1t convolved with H2t. So if I give this system to this x of t, what I will get? I will get x of t convolved with this impulse response. Impulse response is H1t convolved with H2t. Right? So in this case, if I have written form or in this form or in this form, these three systems are equivalent. It means it is giving a very important concept about the LTI system from these two. What it says that if I connect a system in LTI in cascade, then it doesn't matter how I connect the first system to the second system. I can connect second system first or the first system first, right? It doesn't matter how I connect these subsystems, right? So H1t and then H2t, they can be interchanged their role without affecting the overall output. Individual output definitely will be different. If I see here and here, the individual output is different. But if I see overall output will remain same in this case or in this case. So associative property gives a very important concept that in LTI, in cascade, it doesn't matter how you connect the subsystems, right? That is, the order of cascading does not matter. So I'm writing here, order of cascading does not matter in LTI. In LTI, it doesn't matter how you connect in cascade. You can connect in cascade in any order, right? Is that clear to all? Or any doubt to anyone? Say yes or no, anyone? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we go to the these are the three properties of the convolution that should be learned before going to the numerical part of the convolution. Now, the convolution, by which what we get output, right? That is either y of t or y of n, right? Whatever is required, that is whether it is continuous time or discrete time, that depends upon the problem to problem. So whether y of t is required or y of n is required, that is a different matter. But here, what is the concept? Concept is this, that we have given x of t or x of n along with its impulse response h of t or h of n, and then we have to find out the y of t and y of n. Now, what are the different methods we have? First of all, for discrete time case, we have following methods. First method is for finite length signals. Now, what do you mean by finite length signals? Finite length signals means that x of n or h of n. We are talking about now discrete time case, so nothing about x of t and h of t here. These x of n and h of n has a non-zero values at some points, right? And these point n should not be greater than 10. That is, it should be less than 10. That is the length of the signal. That is, length means this signal is, for example, is having a length of 4. That is where it is non-zero. It is called finite length signal, right? So x of n, h of n, if it is having a length less than 10, even for greater than 5, it is a little bit complex. This method is complex, but this method is most likely by the student. This method is known as the matrix approach. Matrix approach is what? That if x of n is given as, suppose, 0, 1, 2, 3, and -1. I'm writing randomly. Suppose this is my n equal to 0 point. This arrow shows n equal to 0 point. Hn is, suppose, -1, 2, 3. And suppose arrow is over here. This is again n equal to 0 point, right? Now, it is not necessary that both lengths should be same. They can be different, they can be same also, right? Now, in matrix approach, what we do, we write x of n in one side and h of n in other side. And it is also not necessary in which way we have to write. We write xn in this side or hn this side. We can do in reverse order also. So here we write the x of n. I'm writing here x of n values. Now see carefully. I will write here h of n values and then simply multiply this -1 to these values. So I will have 0, -1, -2, -3 and +1. Then 2 is multiplied with these values. So 0, 2, 4, 6, -2. 3 is multiplied with these values. So it will be 0, 3, 6, 9, -3. And then see carefully. What we do after this, we divide this matrix in this form. We take the leftmost corner and we divide it like this. We divide it like this. Right? Now, after dividing this, what we do, in this diagonal, whatever the values are coming, we sum it algebraically. So first value will be 0, second is 0, -1, so -1. Then third is 0 + 2, -2, so it is 0. 3 + 4, -3, 4. 6 + 6, 12, + 1, 13. 9 -2, 7, and then -3. So these are the values of y of n, that is the output, the convolution output. And it is very easiest method of the convolution. Is that not easiest method?
Yes, sir.
What we have to do, xn we write this side and h of n this side. We multiply the h of n values to all these. We have written like this, and then we take it the diagonal in this side and then sum the values. Whatever the diagonal values are coming, we algebraically sum it out and we write it like this. Now problems come. The problem come that where does n equal to 0 point is there. That is where I have to write the arrow sign, right? And it is not given in any book. I have myself gone through this and find out a method where this arrow sign is there, right? Now, in the Salivanan book, of DSP, Digital Signal Processing, this method is given. But he has not mentioned it where the n equal to 0 point lies. That I have invented, n equal to 0 point. Now see carefully. Here, the x of n equal to 0 point is this, so we circle this. H of n 0 point is this, so we circle this. Now wherever this 2 and 0, this circle one is multiplied and that is coming in the diagonal, that element is coming in this diagonal, so we circle this. And this circle is resulted with this value, so we make a arrow over. So this is my n equal to 0. Right? See again, if you miss it, x of n 0 point is this, so we circle it. H of n 0 point is this, so we circle it. Wherever this multiplication is coming in the diagonals, we circle that diagonal, and the result of that diagonal is the n equal to 0 point. Is that clear to all?
सर ये दोबारा बता दो सर एक बार ये
n equal to 0 point.
हाँ सर ये वाला.
ओके दोबारा देखिए, x of n 0 वाला n equal to 0 point कहां पर है, उसकी वैल्यू क्या है 0, तो हम इस पर सर्कल करेंगे. h of n की 0 वैल्यू कहां पर है 2 पर, तो हम इसको सर्कल करेंगे. इन दोनों का मल्टीप्लीकेशन कहां हो रहा है यहां पर, और ये किस वाले डायगोनल में, इस वाले डायगोनल में है, तो हम इसको सर्कल करेंगे डायगोनल को, और इसका जो रिजल्ट आया है वो -1 आया है, और ये हमारा हो जाएगा n equal to 0 point. That is y 0 is -1, y1 is 0, y2 is 4, y3 is 13, y4 is 7, y5 is -3, y -1 is 0. That is the meaning of n equal to 0 point. Is this fine now?
Yes sir.
So that is about the first approach of the convolution in discrete time case, that is the finite length signal. Now if I have suppose more than 10 values here and here also, then you can see it is lengthy method. We can do that also, but it will be require a lot of space, lot of calculation will be there, and there is a chance of the mistake, right? So we try to avoid that, this method even after 5 values. That is, if x of n is having more than 5 non-zero values, then we can try to avoid this method, right? Now the next is, if it is greater than this value, right? Suppose if one of them is infinite, right? This is the second method, that is for infinite length signals. I'm not taking for n equal to greater than 5, I'm taking in general for the values which is greater than which is not non-zero at infinity point also. For example, what is the signal type? Signal type will be like this. It is an exponential signal and it is increasing in the time, and up to infinite it is non-zero, right? So it is an infinite length signals, right? So in this case, how to approach this thing? For this, I am taking an example to understand this method. H of n is 2 to the power n un, and x of n is 3 to the power n un minus 1. Suppose I have written these two signals, right? What are the steps? How do we proceed for this infinite length signals? The signal, one of the signal can be also having a finite length, right? For example, if I do it with the finite length, suppose if I have un minus 3 here, suppose I have a signal like this. So how do I plot this signal? First, this is the graphical approach for infinite length signals, and this approach can be used for continuous time case also, continuous time signal also, right? This graphical approach. Now, how do we proceed? First, we write x of k versus k. X of k versus k. X of k versus k means In place of n, I will write k. So if I write k, it will be 3 to the power k u k minus 1 minus u k minus 3. Now what is this type of signal? U k minus 1 will be starting from n equal k equal to 1 to infinitive. This is u k minus 1. Right? This value is k. And u k minus 3 will be starting from 3.
3.
So it will be like this. uk minus 3. Now if I subtract uk minus 1 minus uk minus 3, what I will get? I will get two values at 1 and 2 only. Because 3 onwards, they are same. So they will cancel from 3. Right? So I will get two values only. That is at 1 and 2. Right? I will get the values as 1 and 2. And the values are what? At 1, k equal to 1, what will be the value? It will be 3. At k equal to 2, its value will be 3 square. Right? It is 3 to the power n. So it will be 3 square. Right? Now after this, 3 and 3 square values, all other values are 0. So 3 dot convention, through that we can do it. So this is x of k. H of k versus k. What will be this? This will be 2 to the power k u of k. And u of less than 0. So here it is 0. And at 0 it is 1. But here it is 2 to the power n. So n equal to 0, if I substitute, I will get 1. At n equal to 1, u of k is 1. But 2 to the power 1 will be 2. So it will be 2. Then 2 to the power 2. Then 2 to the power 3 and so on. Right? So it is increasing function of time. So this is my h of k. Right? Now what is the formula to calculate the convolution? It is x of k, h of n minus k, summation k equal to minus infinite to infinite. So what are the steps? First is this, that is change the variable from x of n and h of n, use x of k and h of k. Second is find out this value h of n minus k. Now here the variable is k and n is simply a constant here. N is not variable here because we have changed the variable from n, we have changed the variable as k. Now h of n minus k, for example, h of n minus k means h of 3 minus k I have to plot, suppose.
Then time reversal.
So in this first, what we will do? First we do time shifting always. If you recall, we have done that thing. That yes, first sir, there will be time shifting always. So we first find h of n plus k. Now if I have h of k and I want to plot h of n minus n plus k, what I have to do? I am adding k with n. Argument, I am adding k with n. So in the real axis, I subtract the values. So in place of 0, it will be minus n. In place of 1, it will be minus n plus 1. In place of 2, it will be minus n plus 2 and so on. Right? So it will be having a value like this. Values will remain same, it will be same. Right? Now after this, what I have to do? H of n minus k. That is the time folding I have to take. So what I am doing? I am multiplying k with minus. Here I will divide this with minus 1. So dividing with the minus 1 or multiplying with the minus 1, both are same. So if I multiply this by minus 1, this minus n will become plus n. This minus n plus 1 will become n minus 1. This minus n plus 2 will become n minus 2 and so on. So it is increasing in this way now. It is increasing in this way. Are you able to get this thing? H of n minus k from h of n plus k, we have to just fold it over here. So in place of minus n, you have to just multiply these values by minus 1. and we cannot show here zero value. Why we cannot show zero value? Because this n, because of this n, right? So we are getting h of n minus k as this signal. Values will remain same. This value is 2 to the power 0, that is 1, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, and so on, right? So these are the values we are getting for the h of n minus k. Now, what is our formula? X of k multiply with h of n minus k. Now, what I have to do? I have to multiply this with x of k, right? How do I multiply? For this, we take different cases. Case first. Now, remember, this convolution problem will always come in the exam. So you have to be very cautious about doing this thing and learning this thing, right? So first case is, how do we approach? We roll. Now listen carefully again. We roll this h of n minus k to this x of k from this side. Roll means what? इसको ऐसे यहाँ ऐसे घुमाएंगे हम इसको for different cases, right? तो पहला केस क्या हो जाएगा? यहाँ इसके बाद, इससे पहले ये जीरो है, इधर इस तरफ जीरो है, n के बाद इधर, यानी कि n+1 पे, n+2 पे, n+3 पे ये जीरो है, राइट? और n पर ये नॉन जीरो है, राइट? तो सबसे पहले हम ये देखेंगे कि ये कहीं पर नॉन जीरो, कहीं पर जीरो हो रहा है क्या? तो जीरो से पहले वाली ये वाली एज जो होगी, इसको बोलते हैं राइट मोस्ट एज. क्या बोलते हैं? राइट मोस्ट एज, क्योंकि इसके राइट के बाद जीरो वैल्यूज आ रही है. सिमिलरली लेफ्ट में अगर कुछ होता, लेफ्ट से पहले अगर इधर जीरो होता, तो उसको बोलते हैं लेफ्ट मोस्ट एज. लेकिन इसकी जो लेफ्ट मोस्ट एज है वो माइनस इंफिनिटिव पर है, राइट? तो लेफ्ट मोस्ट एज है ही नहीं, राइट? अब ये जो राइट मोस्ट एज है, इसको हम सबसे पहले क्या करेंगे? अच्छा, ये इसकी क्या हो गई? इस वाले सिग्नल के लिए ये दो चीजें क्या, ये वाला क्या हो गया? ये हो गया राइट मोस्ट एज, और ये क्या हो गया? लेफ्ट मोस्ट एज. ठीक है, क्या करना है? सबसे पहला केस हमेशा क्या होगा कि पहले दूसरे सिग्नल का राइट मोस्ट एज पहले सिग्नल के लेफ्ट मोस्ट एज के पहले रखेंगे. राइट मोस्ट एज will come before the leftmost edge of this signal. तो पहला केस क्या हो जाएगा? अब ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हम ऐसा उठा के रख देंगे. There should be some condition. Condition is what? That this n should be less than 1. If n is less than 1, here it is not included equal to, because if I write n equal to here, it will be a different case, right? So if I write n before this one, right? Before this one means n is less than 1. If I write it like this case will be like this. These are the two x of n, x of k values, and we are putting h of n minus k over somewhere over here, right? On the zero values of the x of k. X of k is 0 over here, right? So x of k 0 है यहाँ पर, और h of n minus k 0 है इधर. तो दोनों का जो प्रोडक्ट होगा वो क्या होगा? That should be 0. So yn should be equal to 0 in this case. दोबारा देखिए अगर कहीं प्रॉब्लम है तो. h of n minus k जो है वो नॉन जीरो है n और उससे पहले, n के बाद 0 है, और मैंने n कहां पर रखा है? n 1 से पहले रखा है. तो n 1 से अगर पहले रखूंगा तो ये जो जीरो वैल्यूज हैं x ऑफ k की, ये मल्टीप्लाई होंगी नॉन जीरो वैल्यू से, और ये जो जीरो वैल्यूज हैं h ऑफ n माइनस k, ये मल्टीप्लाई होगी इधर वाले पार्ट से. तो अल्टीमेटली रिजल्ट क्या आ जाएगा? 0 आएगा. इज दैट क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the second case, what I will do, I have substitute this in between this, either on this one or on this two, but not beyond this, right? So what will be the condition in this case? This condition will be like this: n is greater than equal to 2, right? N is not greater than, less than equal to 2, but simultaneously n is greater than equal to 1. Right? So in this case, what will happen? How do we calculate yn? Yn will be calculated as summation x of k, h of n minus k equal to minus infinite to infinite. Right? Now, tell me, somebody from your side, tell me what should be the k values for which this sum will be non-zero. This product will be non-zero. For which values of k this product will be non-zero? It is only 1 and 2. It is only 1 and 2. So k values is from 1 to 2, right? And x of k is what? X of k is nothing but 3 raised to power k. Because you can see this is here 3 to the power n and this value. This value is only for the direction purpose, right? That is whether it is from 1 to 2, it is 1, right? Its value is 1. So if we consider only this value and this value for calculating this summation, right? Similarly, this h of n minus k is 2 to the power n minus k, right? We substitute here in place of h of n, we substitute h of n minus k. So it will be 2 to the power n minus k. So this value, when I summed it, this is 2 to the power n, which is constant. So I can take this outside, and this will be 3 by 2 to the power k, and k value is from 1 to 2. And because there are only two values, I can simply sum it like this: 3 by 2 plus 9 by 4. Putting the values of k. Putting the values of k here, k equal to 1 if I substitute, it will be 3 by 2. K equal to 2 if I substitute, it will be 9 by 4. And then simply adding this to give us 6 plus 9, 15 by 4. And 15 by 4, I can write it as 2 raised to power n minus 2. Got this result? Anyone have any difficulty in this result? Any difficulty at this point? Please tell me frankly whether there is a problem in understanding how we approach here. Because this is very essential question which will always come in the exam. No problem to anyone? So we got this result. Now I'm going further. Case 3. What will be the case 3? That is the last case in this case, in this problem. The last case will be
n is greater than
n is
greater.
greater than.
N is greater than 1.
So because n is, whether n is over 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or up to infinitive, because this is an infinite signal, these are the only possible cases, right? So n is greater than 2. In this case also, how we can find out y of n? We can find out through the same. That is summation x of k. X of k is 3 to the power k, and h of k is 2 to the power n minus k. And k value is from, now tell me what will be the k value? Where this product will be non-zero. Where this product will be non-zero. Only for these two values again, 1 and 2. Why? Because this k is non-zero for 1 and 2 only. So we write here 1 and 2. And you can see these two are same. Right? So result
Yes,
will
sir.
be 15, 2 to the power n minus 2. And because of this, results are same. We can write it combinedly, the y of n, in this following form. Yn is what? Yn is 0 for n less than 1, and it is 15 into 2 to the power n minus 2 for n greater than equal to 1. Now, can anybody help me to find out a single statement in place of these two lines, can I write in a single statement this value of yn? Now I'm taking in the next page. Any difficulty on this page? We will do one more problem. Don't worry about the problems. We have a lot of problems. We can do it. Now, my question is, my yn was 15 2 to the power n minus 2 for n greater than equal to 1 and 0 for n less than 1. Can I write in one single line yn? And that is the signal and system form. This is the mathematical form. This one is the mathematical form. I have to write in a signal and system form. So can anybody tell me what will be the signal which is 1 for this case and 0 for this case? For n greater than equal to 1, the signal value should be 1, and n less than 1, its value should be 0. Which type of signal is that signal?
Sir, step signal.
Digital.
It is a step signal. So I have to multiply this only with u of minus 1 to write it in single line. So this is the signal we have written, and that is our answer of the previous problem, right? Anybody have any doubt? Please tell me right now. Okay, there is no problem. So we do it now very fast. Using the continuous time case. Suppose we have a signal like this. This is my x of t versus t, and another signal is like this. Suppose this is 3. This value is again 1. This is my h of t versus t. Now, in this case, I cannot use the, because it is a continuous time case, I cannot use the matrix approach here in this case. So only the graphical approach is used for continuous time case. In discrete time, if it is finite length less than 5 or equal to 5 or less than 10 also, we can do it with the matrix approach. But if it is greater than 10, or if it is an infinite length segment, or if it is a continuous time signal, then only the graphical approach is there to find out the convolution. We can do also some mathematics is there. We can use the integration approach, but that is not required in signal and system because we are doing the signal and system. We can do with the mathematical part also, that we try to integrate minus infinite to infinite x of tau, h of t minus tau, and then we can solve it. But that is a tedious approach to do it, right? So in signal and system, we try to avoid that mathematical approach. Now in this case, first I have to write always x of tau versus tau. So this signal will remain same, only the variable is changed from t to tau. Value is 1. And here also we write minus 1 to 3 h of tau. Raj, you just take that attendance of through the chat. So h of tau minus 1 to 3, it is value is 1. Now after this value, what we have to do? We have to find out the integral x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. Integral minus infinite to infinite, that is my y of t, right? So I have to change now from h of tau, I have to change h of t minus tau. So again, two things are involved, time shifting and time folding. So first we will do, what we will do?
Time shifting.
So first we do h of t plus tau. So can anybody tell me what I have to write here?
Yes, sir. In negative side, tau. T.
It
Sorry.
will be minus 1 minus t. I have added t, so I have to subtract t. So 3 minus t. Is this clear? यहाँ पर हम क्या कर रहे हैं, आर्ग्यूमेंट में, इसके रेस्पेक्ट में आर्ग्यूमेंट में हम क्या कर रहे हैं, टी ऐड कर रहे हैं, तो इसके रेस्पेक्ट में हम क्या करेंगे, टी सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे, तो टी सब्ट्रैक्ट कर दिया यहाँ पर, राइट। अब नेक्स्ट क्या टास्क है, नेक्स्ट टास्क इज एच ऑफ टी माइनस टॉ। सो टी माइनस टॉ में हम टॉ में क्या कर रहे हैं, +1 है यहाँ पर क्या है -1, तो -1 से मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हैं टॉ को, तो यहाँ पर -1 से डिवाइड करेंगे या फिर -1 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, बोथ आर सेम थिंग, राइट। तो -1 से अगर मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो ये क्या हो जाएगा, t+1, और ये क्या हो जाएगा, t-3। सो t-3 will come here and t+1 will come here. Although we cannot write here 0. See here, I am not writing here 0. We can write here 0. There is no problem because 0 is defined here. Here 0 is not defined because of this t. T can be anywhere over here in this line. So that through the t, it will decide whether the 0 will be here or not, right? For example, if t is 0, then here it will be here. If t is equal to, suppose 2, then 3 minus 2 will be 1 here and then 0 will be here. If t is greater than 3, then 0 will be not here, 0 will be here. That's why I'm not writing 0, although I have drawn this line, but this is not 0, right? So remember this thing very carefully. So this is here. Now what I have to do, I have to roll this signal over here from this side. Now how do I roll? There will be 5 cases will be there. See here, what are the cases? Case first. This is called the rightmost edge. Always what we do, rightmost edge will fall before the leftmost edge. This is the leftmost edge, right, of this signal. Leftmost edge, before that it should be 0. Rightmost edge, after that it should be 0. That is the rightmost edge and leftmost edge is. Rightmost edge of the second signal should fall before the leftmost edge. So in this case, this is my x of tau and my h of tau is lying over here, right? This is my h of t minus tau. So cannot you see the product of these two will be equal to 0? Is that fine? Yt will be, Yt is what? The product of these two signals, right? Yt is the product of these two signals. X of tau is 0 over here. H of t minus tau is 0 over here. So when I multiply these two in this form, it will be gives us Yt is equal to 0. Now how this happens? Because we cannot put over here this signal we put over here. We cannot do it like that. There should be some condition. What is the condition? We have put it this t+1 before this one. So t+1 should be less than equal to 1. Equal to 1 also we can do because it will not occupy an area if it is over here. If this point is over here, then also product will be 0, right? So we can make it equal here. There is no problem in the equal to writing in the continuous time case, but in the discrete time case, we should be very careful about the equal to sign, right? So t+1 is less than equal to 0 means t is less than equal to 0. So Yt is 0 for t less than equal to 0, right? Second case. Case second will be, now see here I fix this x of t. X of tau is fixed over here between 1 and 2, right? I am rolling this one, right? Now if I roll this one, my second case will lie over here. Although the values height are same, it is 1 and 1, but I am showing it with the different thing because to visualize it properly. So this is t+1, this is t minus 3. This will be my second case, right? Now what is the area which is non-zero? Area will be nothing but this area, right? And now it is very simple to calculate this area. We don't require the integral. If the overlap area, this is called the overlap area, right? Here, why this is overlap? Because x of tau is 0 over here and h of t minus tau is 0 over here, right? So only this is the area which is give us the product as non-zero, right? So in this case, if it is well-known shape, remember, if it is well-known shape, we don't require to calculate the integral. Yt is simply is the area of this, and this is nothing but a rectangle, and rectangle area is width multiplied by the height. Height is 1 because both are 1. If it is one of them is 1 and another is 2, we multiply them 1 and 2, right? So here it is 1 and 1, so height will be 1, and the width will be, how do I find width? Right hand side minus left hand side always. So t plus 1 minus 1. So it is t only, and multiply by 1 will give us t only, right? Height is 1 and this width is t. How do we get this width? Right side minus left side. So t plus 1 minus 1 will be t, right? So t into 1 will be t. And this is the case where when this case will arise. Can anybody help me? When this case will arise? When t plus 1 should be greater than 1, but at the same time t plus 1 should be less than equal to 2. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Is this clear? So in this case, we can write it like this, that t greater than 0 and t less than 1. So between 0 to 1. Right? Between 0 to 1, this case will be there and yt will be given by this case. Right? Now, the next case, case 3. Now, if I take this t plus 1 outside of this 2, right? Again, I am fixing this x of tau over here versus tau. Now, I take this t plus 1 here. So, can we put t minus 3 over here? We can put here. Why? Because the width of this signal is larger than the width of this signal. See here, x of tau is having a width of 1 and h of t minus tau is having a width of 4. So this case can be arises over here, right? So case 3 is this. In this case, what should be the condition first? Condition is t plus 1 should be greater than 1 and t minus 3 should be less than 2. So what is the condition here? It is 1, t greater than 0, and here it is, oh sorry, it should be here 1 and here 2. So t plus 1 is greater than 2, but t minus 3 is less than 1. I have written it wrongly. T minus 3 is less than, so t plus 1 greater than 2 means t is greater than 1, and t minus 3 less than 1 means t is less than 4. Right? So between 1 to 4, between 1 to 4. Again, we can write it equal here or equal here. There is no problem in the continuous time case. And what is the area in this case? Area will be nothing but this area. Because outside of this area, x of tau is 0. So only this area will be the common area. And what is the area of this? What will be y of t in this case? Y of t will be nothing. This difference is 1 and this height is 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. So answer is 1. So y of t equal to 1 for this case. Right? Case 4. What will be case 4? Again, we fix this x of t here between 1 and 2. This is my x of tau versus tau. Now, what I will do? I will put here t minus 3. Still t plus 1 is here, but I put here t minus 3 here. So you can see how we are rolling. We are rolling from left side and it is approaching here in between. Then it is occupying the x of tau whole, and then again it is shifting like this. Right? Now the area will be this. Area will be this. So what will be the area? Area will be the width. Width is always taken right minus left. So 2 minus t minus 3. This will be the width. And height is 1. So multiply it with 1 will be remaining same. So it will be 5 minus t. And what should be the condition? What should be the condition? Condition will be t minus 3 should be less than 2 and t plus 1 should be greater than 2. Right? We cannot write t minus 3 greater than 1, because t minus 3 greater than 1 means t minus 3 can lie also here. Right? So that's why these conditions will be there. And from this condition, we get the t value between greater than t greater than 1 and here t less than 5. Right? And the last condition will be what? What will be the last condition? Last condition is x of tau is here, right? And h of t minus tau will be here. So this is 2, this is 1, this point is t minus 3. So in this case, the overlap area is 0. So y of t is again coming to be 0. But for this case, t minus 3 is greater than 2. It means t greater than 5. Right? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we stop it over here and we can write y of t combinedly, that yt is 0 for this condition, then yt is this t for this condition, and yt is equal to this for this 1 for this condition, and yt is equal to this for this condition of t, and yt is again 0 for this condition. And we can plot it also versus t, because it is only hardly 5 points are there between 0
Sir,
to 5.
network theory class है अभी.
Yeah. I know that thing. I know that thing. Okay, I will stop over here. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.